Hey, welcome to the new show, Man Coverage. I am Derek Williams.
And I'm Denzel Moore.
This is our new sports talk show. We talk about professional sports, anything relevant. We're
Amateur sports.
Amateurs. We're new at this and everything. We're gonna talk about football, basketball, wrestling, baseball, you name it. We'll talk about it. This is our first show, so bear with us. We will make improvements along the way. Things will get tweaked, but today's the start of something new. Man Coverage. Thank you guys for watching. We're going to have a YouTube channel, an Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Follow us at Man Coverage, and let's get this thing started. It's Super Bowl weekend. I'm very excited.
Well, speaking of which, talking about football, I want to talk to you about the XFL ran by Vince McMahon, owner of WWE. What do you think is going to happen? Is it going to succeed, or is it going to be a bust like the last time?
Well, Vince McMahon is really good at promoting his product.
Mm-hmm.
If you really think about it, like, he promotes WWE, which is not real wrestling, and it's one of the biggest companies in this world. The XFL succeeded last time. I would say it succeeded, but it wasn't sustainable. Now, with the controversy surrounding the NFL, with the Patriot fatigue and the national anthem and all the politics and everything, I feel like Vince is putting the XFL in motion again. And this day, like in 2018, is a great move by him. And I think it's going to be I think it's going to work. It's going to be fun. He switches up the game a lot. I'm ready. 2020. Let's see what he has. What do you think?
I think when it comes to Vince McMahon's best thing that he can do is his ability to sell himself. Vince McMahon has been able to take something that was not so, it wasn't, at one point in time, it wasn't something that was glamorized. It wasn't something that was looked upon as like, well, that's what I want to be when I grow up. That's the future job that I want to have. That's my dream job. But there are a lot of kids that look up to WWE superstars. They reach out to, Make-A-Wish Foundation, different things like that. I mean, they have war veterans who come out of war and they want to get a job. They want to still lift. They want to be on camera and different things like that. So they're able to get a job as, being one of Vince McMahon's, one of his athletes, one of the different things. I know Brock Lesnar was an NFL player.
Yes, he tried out for the Vikings, I believe, in 2003.
He made the team, actually.
Yeah.
Made the team, got to start. And Mark Henry. Mark Henry played football, The Big Show, different people like that. I know John Cena. John Cena was not actually a Marine, but John Cena was actually an actor before he got into WWE. So I think it's going to be a great thing as far as the XFL. I think it's going to be great. Vince McMahon. And
one more thing about the XFL is I remember back when he did it the first time, they had nicknames in the back of their jerseys. And it's just to show that Vince knows how to have fun with any product he gets his hands on. So whereas the NFL is very more strict, and no celebrations, I mean, they're more loose with it this year, but for the most part, the NFL is more like strict, and Roger Goodell he lays the hammer down, and the players, it's more of a strict league. The XFL is going to be more lenient. It's going to be more fun to watch. I'm not exactly sure how the actual product is going to turn out as far as football, but it will be entertaining, and Vince will promote it, and I think it's going to be a success.
So another thing that is going to promote with the XFL is different things that you can go down the list. Vince McMahon is promising no halftimes. He's promising commercial-free football and longer quarters. So I definitely think that that's going to be a great thing. Well, depending on how you feel, but there's going to be a championship. There's going to be a semifinal and a regular season.
A 10-game regular season.
10 games.
Yes.
So I definitely think that's going to be a great season.
And it's going to be in the springtime, when the NFL season ends, so it won't be a crossover of which to watch, XFL or NFL. Once the NFL season ends in February, Vince says that's when the XFL is going to start their kickoff.
Which is actually going to be great because that gives men, it gives women, children, it gives us all football all year round. So I think that's going to be a great thing. I think that's going to be awesome.
Quick question. Do you see Johnny Manziel, Tim Tebow, Colin Kaepernick playing in the XFL?
Well, Vince McMahon has already promised, he said, all players that play in his league have to stand up for the national anthem. He said it's an American tradition, so he said you have to stand up for the national anthem. I don't think Colin Kaepernick, well, he promised the NFL, he said, I will not stand until different things change. So that kind of checks him off the list. I mean, Johnny Manziel, if he can get his act together, if he can stay off drugs, I mean, even if you have allegations against you, Vince McMahon is not going to go for it at all.
Right.
I mean, you can look at Enzo Amore, wrestler right now, actually was at the top of his game, to be honest, but he had rape allegations against him, so and he wasn't even charged with anything or anything at all. He was just being investigated for rape, and they let him go.
Okay.
So different things like that. I know Jeff Hardy got let go because
Drug affiliation.
drugs,
so-
and CM Punk didn't want to follow the rules, didn't want to do anything. Johnny Manziel has shown in the NFL, even when he was at Texas A&M, big hot shot, won the Heisman Trophy, didn't want to follow the rules, and he was a problem in the locker room.
Right.
So I'm not sure if Vince McMahon is going to put up with that. I know Troy Smith, Heisman Trophy winner, played for Ohio State and was the first-round pick for the Baltimore Ravens. So I think that's going to be great. He's 35 years old, but by then he'll be 37. Who knows? It could be great.
Yeah, we'll see. It's going to be very interesting. 2020, we'll see Vince McMahon. You never disappoint. So
Enough about the future. Let's talk about what's going on right now. The biggest thing in the world, everyone knows,
Super Bowl.
the Super Bowl, biggest week in the world. I want to know your predictions.
Eagles versus Patriots. Well, I'll say this. It's a quarterback-driven league. And one thing that this season has taught me, and this NFL season alone, is it's about the team around you, not necessarily the quarterback. Because if you look at the NFC Championship, you had Case Keenum versus Nick Foles, and then you had Blake Bortles also in the AFC Championship. Tom Brady in the Super Bowl, he's practically unbeatable. The Giants got him twice, yeah, I know. But what are the odds that Alshon Jeffrey's going to catch a ball on his helmet, or Nick Foles is going to drill Torrey Smith a Mario Manningham-esque sideline pass? Let's look at the Super Bowl last year, the 28-3 comeback. I ask you this. I would argue that the Falcons last year are a better team than the Eagles this year.
Whoa there.
So hold on. So you're telling me Nick Foles with these Eagles are better than last year's Matt Ryan led
I think so.
Falcons?
I think so. The record shows. So I mean, you can't beat 13 games. 13-game win streak, you can't beat that. I mean, the only team to ever do that in the NFC was, at the time, the Miami Dolphins. And they went on to win a Super Bowl at that time. And then, the Carolina Panthers. Carolina Panthers did the exact same thing, but they lost the Super Bowl to seasoned Peyton Manning.
Right.
But, I mean, it's the Super Bowl, and that's the beauty of our game. The beauty of our game is anyone can win. And at this point, the way that you've seen the playoffs. Everyone has seen the playoffs. They've seen how the Vikings pulled off that win against the Saints. I think that it was a bad play. I think Diggs just made a great play on the ball. But still, this is the game of football, and anything can happen. And I think, if you ask me, I think Foles and the Eagles are going to pull off the upset. But I will say this. Score, I will say 28-24.
The blasphemy that just came out of his mouth. So basically, he's telling the world that Nick Foles is going to beat Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. That's basically what you're telling me.
If you look at it, recent Super Bowls have shown the underdog wins the Super Bowl. The underdog, except for I will say, the Patriots. The Patriots do win Super Bowls, but if you look at it, most of their Super Bowls, if you ask me, have been the gimme. They've all been gimmies. They've never been, well, we've been winning the game. We've had our foot on the gas. It's been when the team beats themselves. Let's go to the Seattle Seahawks, my favorite team. Seattle Seahawks. They had the game in their hands. They had the best running back in America at the time. The best running back in America. So if you have the best running back in America and he's known for making great plays in clutch moments, why would you not give him the ball on 1st and 2?
Let me explain that to you.
Makes no sense.
When you're coaching against a Bill Belichick-led team, you tend to outthink yourself. But, I mean, it's happened consistently.
Oh, man.
Look at the Jacksonville game, the AFC Championship. The Jaguars had that game in the bag. And what happened? They couldn't finish the job. Atlanta Falcons last year, they definitely had the game in the bag, and they could not finish the job. We tend to forget the Seattle Seahawks were up 10 in the fourth quarter in that Super Bowl, and you had the Legion of Boom, the best defense in the last 10 years, and Brady carved them up, threw for 4 touchdowns, by the way. So when you look at the Eagles, I don't care how good their defense is, they will be able to get pressure on the quarterback. But the key to beating the Patriots, you have to beat them for 4 quarters. The Jaguars won 3 out of 4 quarters. When you're playing the Patriots, you need to win 4 quarters. And that's what teams can't do against Brady and Belichick, is beat them for 4 quarters. It's okay. You can go up 14-0 in the first, but that's Tom Brady on the other side of the ball, and you know he's going to get the job done. So my prediction for the Super Bowl, I think each New England Super Bowl, aside from last year, has been won or lost by 4 points or less. I'm going to stick with that. I'm going to say the New England Patriots win 24-20 in the Thriller.
24-20. Wow. You couldn't be more wrong, my friend. And I got to say, if you look at Tom Brady right now, I have a question for you. I've seen different talk shows talk about it. I've seen ESPN all talking about it. I want to know, does Tom Brady have 10 more years left in him?
No, he doesn't have 10 more years left in him, but don't get me wrong, he has about 3 or 4 good, productive years left in him. And if you think that him winning his 6th Super Bowl is something, wait until next year, because Tom Brady released a documentary, Tom versus Time, and it's basically showing him and how he prepares his body and how much he just cares about the game and what he's willing to sacrifice for the game of football. Bill Belichick has given Tom Brady a great offensive line. He's gotten hit a lot this season, but the way Tom eats and the way Tom works his body, he works out, he doesn't get hurt. Aside from the 2008 season opener against Kansas City, he has not been hurt. He had stitches on his hand, and he still played. And you look at next year, you got Edelman coming back, Gronk will be back, and I look at the plethora of competition. You're going to have a bunch of rookie quarterbacks in Baker Mayfield. You're going to have Deshaun Watson. You're going to have Carson Wentz back. I mean, you're going to have a lot of young quarterbacks, Sam Darnold, Josh Rosen, but other than Ray Lewis and Peyton Manning, name me another team or a player that has the impact to go into Foxborough and beat the Patriots in a big game in the playoffs. Because Ray Lewis and the Ravens can do it because he had Ed Reed, and there were a bunch of Rough Riders. Peyton Manning was a tough out. We beat them in the regular season, but in the playoffs, they were tough to beat. Who in the NFL gives Tom Brady that type of challenge now?
I know one. A man by the name of Eli Manning. Okay. Eli Manning does not even have to do it in the playoffs. He'll get it done in the Super Bowl. Doesn't matter.
So, who is your dark horse MVP for this week's Super Bowl? So, obviously, if the Patriots win, Tom Brady is more than likely going to win MVP. But if he didn't, who do you think is going to have? Who's going to be the X factor in this game for both teams?
Well, it's a given already. For the Patriots, I'm going to have to say James White.
Ooh.
James White carries that entire offense, if you ask me. James White, I seen your face just now. James White had the game-winning touchdown last year in the Super Bowl, did he not?
He did.
And this year, he had 3 touchdowns. If I'm mistaken, he had 3 touchdowns against the Jaguars.
One.
I'm pretty sure he did.
It wasn't. It was. I think it was one. That's one.
He had a rushing touchdown. He had 2 receiving touchdowns, if I'm not mistaken.
Amendola had 2 receiving touchdowns.
Okay,
James
so
White had one,
I was
rushing.
mistaken.
Yeah.
But still, that man carries that entire offense.
Okay.
He runs the ball. He can really kill your team with the receiving. So I mean, it's not even like they have to look at Elderman down the field. I mean, yeah, you got Gronk, but Gronk is out.
No,
So,
Gronk has been practicing. He should be ready
But-
to go.
but
if
is
the
he
Super
ready?
Bowl was played yesterday, he would not have played. But the week off, the bye week, gave them the advantage. He traveled to Minnesota with the Patriots. He is playing.
He can travel all he wants.
He's
but
playing.
is he ready to play in the biggest game and arguably the best sport in history of mankind, to play in the Super Bowl, the biggest championship we know? Is he ready to play in that game?
not only is Gronk ready to play in that game, but I'm going to say Gronk wins the MVP this year.
Wow.
Rob Gronkowski will win the Super Bowl MVP if Tom Brady does not. You heard it here.
Wow.
So, we're going to start a new segment called Man to Man. And this is when me or Denzel, we're going to just talk to you just a little bit about whatever is on our mind. You guys watching at home, if you have a topic that you want us to talk about during one of these segments, feel free to let us know. We have social media platforms available where you can contact us. But so yeah, that's what we're gonna do. Denzel, you have the floor. What's on your mind?
Well, I want to take things away from a little bit for football. Well, I want to bring it over to MMA, boxing, fighting, combat sports. I want to talk about UFC, light heavyweight champion Daniel Cormier, and I want to talk about heavyweight champion Stipe Miocic. Stipe Miocic just beat a heavyweight, probably one of the greatest heavyweights ever in the UFC. And if he's going to win this fight, they're both going to have a fight, and this is going to be the super fight, and this is going to decide who is the greatest UFC fighter in history. Now, what I think is going to happen is Dana White is going to prolong the fight. The fight has already been set for next year, which I don't think is going to happen. I think there's going to be something going on. I think Daniel Cormier still wants to fight John Bones Jones, which we've seen the past 2 times John Bones Jones punished Daniel Cormier. So I think that fight's not going to happen for a long time. If it does, hey, I'm going to watch it. I'll be the first one to buy the pay-per-view. I mean, I don't watch anything other than, heavyweights, light heavyweights. I mean, anything else, if you ask me, is boring except for Conor McGregor. So right now, I think the best thing to happen for Dana White and the UFC is for this fight to happen. If you want to sell out Madison Square Garden, you want to sell out anything in Las Vegas, this fight is probably going to be the fight of the century. Not McGregor and Mayweather, this fight right here.
All right. So we're back to the Super Bowl. There's a lot of topics going on. There's a lot of media day. And I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
So what do the Eagles do if Nick Foles pulls off the upset? What do they do with Nick Foles?
I was hoping you would ask this question. This question right here. If Nick Foles pulls off the Super Bowl, if you ask me, it's an upset. If he pulls off the Super Bowl upset, I think they should start him over Carson Wentz.
Next year.
Oh, definitely. I think he should start the entire season. Because, I mean, yeah, Carson Wentz, that was great. And he was going to win the MVP. If you ask me, Foles is just as good as Carson Wentz, even though he was not the starter. If you put Foles on any other team right now in the NFC, the AFC, but I'll say besides the Patriots, I think he'll start. Over Big Ben, I think he'll start over every team. Yes, I think, well, him and Drew Brees. Other than that, I think over Cam Newton. And Cam Newton just happens to be my favorite quarterback. I think just the way that he's been playing in these playoffs, the way that he's played throughout the entire year as the backup, this Nick Foles right here that we're seeing, this guy is a champion. This guy is a Super Bowl competitor, and this guy could start for any team in the NFL if you ask me.
Okay. The fact that you put Nick Foles and Cam Newton in the same sentence,
the man's got an arm,
is blasphemy. And I okay, Nick Foles is the typical backup quarterback. He's what you want in a backup. Carson Wentz went down. Everyone thought the season was over. Nick Foles takes the team to the Super Bowl. Now, if you look at the Oakland Raiders last year, Derek Carr went out before the season ended, and the Raiders fell apart. They didn't win a playoff game. They were one and done. So that just shows the value of the backup quarterback position. So if I'm the Eagles, I keep Nick Foles, but I keep him as a backup, or at least I trade him to put more pieces around Carson Wentz, because Carson Wentz is a talent. He's big. He can run. He's fat. He's like Andrew Luck.
He's great.
I mean, you can't start Nick Foles over Carson Wentz just for the simple fact that you went up in the first round to get Carson Wentz.
The man wins games. That's all I say. The man wins games.
I give credit where credit is due. Nick Foles did have the best touchdown to interception ratio back a couple years ago when he played with Chip Kelly with 26-2 until Tom Brady beat it last year. But I'm just saying, Nick Foles is not going anywhere. He's a legitimate quarterback in this league.
Hey.
And I will make the argument, there's about 10 teams in this league that he can start for. But to say that he can start over Cam Newton, come on, man.
Hey, I'm from Columbus, Ohio, where the saying that we say is you got to get it where you live it. And right now, this kid right here, this kid is getting it. He's getting everything he wants. He's the starting quarterback right now. As of right now, he's the starting quarterback. He's playing in the biggest game in probably what
His life.
most kids.
Biggest game of his life. This is the biggest game he'll
So
ever
if
play.
he doesn't win this game, you wouldn't say that he should be a starter? He's won the
for,
biggest game.
for another team,
He's-
like for example,
What?
if Nick Foles went to the Jaguars,
Bortles has done great this year, though.
but Bortles is not your starting quarterback.
I understand
Bortles
that.
is not your franchise. He crippled that franchise. Hold on. If Kirk Cousins was under center in that AFC Championship, the Patriots would have lost. If they had any type of competent quarterback play, the Patriots would have lost that game. The reason the Patriots won that game is because they were able to make Blake Bortles throw the ball. And I never heard of a team that makes you throw the ball so you can, like, if the Patriots stacked the box. They put 8 in the box. And they said, Fournette, go ahead and run it. We're going to stop the run. Blake Bortles, if you want to beat us, you have to throw the ball. He could not do that. Nick Foles will be a good starter on other teams like the Jaguars, but he will not start over Carson Wentz, even if he does win. And Nick Foles is a good quarterback. But to say that he's going to start over Carson Wentz is like saying Jacoby Brissett should start over Andrew Luck just because he had a good year. You keep your backup for this reason. So if your starter does go down, you can still go to the Super Bowl. You don't lose hope. Because ask Oakland last year, when Derek Carr got hurt, they were done. When Carson Wentz went down, I'll be first to admit, I thought it was over with. But that's why you have a backup quarterback.
Well, that brings us on to our next question. What does this do for Tom Brady's legacy if he gets his 6th ring?
Tom Brady's legacy. Man, he's already the greatest quarterback of all time. That was established after the Seattle Super Bowl. After they beat Seattle and he came back against the Legion of Boom in a 4th quarter, down 10 with 8 minutes to go, and he hit Danny Amendola, and then he hit Julian Edelman to seal the deal. That is when he became the greatest of all time. But Joe Montana is the main quarterback that people argue, well, Montana is it? Okay, well, Brady has, 5 rings, potentially can get to 6 this Sunday. Montana has 4. Montana has only been to 4. Brady has lapped him and doubled it, and will be his 8th Super Bowl. And so I'm looking at Tom Brady, and I'm like, if he wins this 6, he becomes the most iconic sports figure of all time. So Jordan, no. Tiger Woods,
Michael
no.
Jordan.
LeBron James, no. The iconic sports figure will be Tom Brady, not just in football, but in sports.
Over Muhammad Ali.
Yes.
Over greatest. He's the greatest sports icon.
Yes.
Derek, I cannot believe those blasphemous words that you just said.
Yes.
What makes winning a 6th Super Bowl, which I don't even think has been done as far as quarterbacks. I think that Tom Brady has the potential to be in the top 10. But to say that he is the greatest sports icon in history, I mean, you got to look at the era he's playing in.
Okay.
The NFL has gone soft. I
Oh.
mean, there are teams that say, look at the allegations against the NFL. There are plenty of people that are saying that the NFL has been fixing games, that it's been staged, different things like that. And especially when it comes to Tom Brady and the Patriots, if you ask me, and I'll be honest, if you ask me, if the Patriots win, and I'm on record for this, if you ask me, the Patriots, if they win this Super Bowl this Sunday, you can say, out of everything that they've been accused of just having the balls being flattened, of using steroids, of different things to enhance their playing, Tom Brady cheating, I mean, it doesn't matter. If he wins this Super Bowl this Sunday, the Patriots will be the greatest franchise in history. Over the Dallas Cowboys, over the Steelers.
They already are. They already are.
How could you say that? Look at the era that they're in, Derek.
Okay. So let me break down the era. This is 2018, and I don't see our technology and development and our science and our studies going back. We're going for, like, look at the athletes. Like for example, people use the argument in basketball when they do the LeBron Jordan debate that, oh, Jordan played against better competition. Okay, so because it was back then and it was rougher. But so if you look how many Hall of Famers just today are in the NBA. Steph Curry, Russell Westbrook, Paul George, Carmelo Anthony. The list goes, Karl Anthony Towns, the Greek Freak. Like, there's so many dynamic players. I would make the argument that there are more athletic players in today's game than there were in the 90s and the 80s. And that goes for football and basketball and any sport, because technology develops, science develops, the research develops, they're developing equipment. They're just, everything is just going to continue to develop. We're not going back, we're going forward. And I will clearly make the argument that in today's NFL, there's way more athletes and more dominant figures than there was back then. Think about it. Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Ray Lewis, Ed Reed, Ben Roethlisberger, Antonio Brown, Le'Veon Bell. Like, you didn't have this plethora of competition back in the day. You had the 49ers who ran roughshod over the league when they had Joe Montana. You had the Steelers who had their era. But the Patriots to dominate for two, because of Tom Brady got drafted in 2000. So 2000, that's 18 years. So that's almost 2 decades of pure dominance in 2 different eras. You got to give him credit. And if you break his career down into 2, pre-ACL injury and post-ACL injury, if he never tore his ACL and his career ended but when he won his 3 rings, he's a Hall of Famer. And his career after he tore his ACL, from 2008 to now, it's still both Hall of Fame careers. So he has a chance to win his second back-to-back Super Bowl. His second. He went back-to-back when they beat the Carolina Panthers and the Eagles. And now you have the chance to beat the Falcons and the Eagles, so to go back-to-back again. You cannot tell me that Brady is not, if he wins this 6th ring, that he is not the most iconic sports figure of all time. You can't tell me.
Derek, I want you to save that right there. Because next Monday at 4 o'clock, I want you to look into that camera right over there, and I want you to say, I was completely wrong about Tom Brady, and Tom Brady is not the greatest quarterback in history. And the New England Patriots are overrated.
Okay. All right, so it's time for man-to-man, but my turn. And this is the last segment of the day. But I want to talk to you guys one-on-one because obviously my partner Denzel has some type of Patriot hate, and you can see it. You can see it. And let's be honest, the whole world has Patriot hate. The whole world, aside from me and the whole city of Boston, everyone's rooting against the Patriots. Everyone hates the Patriots, and I'm about to shut all the Patriot hate down once and for all. So the root of the hate, it stems from Bill Belichick and the Spygate scandal. Oh, he cheated. He was spying on other teams. Well, first of all, there were other teams doing it, and they just got caught. And the reason why people care is because they were winning, and people wanted to find a reason why they were winning. Let's be honest. If I tell you, if we're playing a game of football, and I have 11 men and you have 11 men, and I tell you we're doing an HB dive, and you know I'm going to run the ball up the middle, I don't care that you know. Can you stop it? It's all about execution at the end of the day. So when you bring up Deflategate, oh, the only reason they won is because they had deflated balls. Oh, really? The second half, the balls were fine. And if I recall, they won that game 45-7. The majority of their points were scored in the second half, and the balls were perfectly fine. There was nothing wrong with the balls. So, and if I don't know, maybe I have to check the highlights, but Tom Brady was not throwing a deflated ball against that Legion of Boom defense in that Super Bowl. He was not throwing a deflated ball against that Atlanta defense last year. He was not throwing a deflated ball in the fourth quarter against the Jaguars defense. And he will not be throwing a deflated ball against the Eagles when he dominates them this Sunday. And for all the haters out there who's, they cheat, listen, I'm going to talk to you right here. We will never see another quarterback like Tom Brady and another head coach like Bill Belichick. The fact that in 2 decades, they were able to win 5, potentially 6 rings, and they're not even done yet. But what they were able to accomplish in 2 decades, they were the most dominant franchise in NFL history. They have the most rings. The Steelers have 6 rings as a franchise. Terry Bradshaw has 4 rings. Ben Roethlisberger has 2. Tom Brady has a chance to get a 6th ring by himself. And you cannot sit here and tell me that you guys hate greatness. You can't hate greatness. You have to appreciate it. So I want all of you guys to do me a favor this Sunday. Forget the hate. Forget trying to find reasons why the Patriots won. Stop blaming the other team. Don't say, oh, if they would have ran the ball, that the Patriots would have lost. Listen, coaches outcoached themselves against Belichick. It happens all the time. But I want you guys this Sunday to sit back, relax, and enjoy greatness, because we will never see another quarterback or another coach or another franchise like this New England Patriots. And I'm sorry, but for those who don't want to see the Patriots win, they're going to win. I'm calling it right here. The Patriots will win, and you're just going to have to learn to deal with it. But I don't want you to deal with it. I want you to appreciate it. We will never see another Tom Brady. It's just it's the LeBron factor. A lot of people don't like LeBron. There's a lot of LeBron fatigue, but you have to sit back and enjoy greatness. You cannot deny greatness. You can try to find reasons to say, oh, they only won because of this or that. But listen, at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, Tom Brady has a gold jacket to Canton, Ohio, 5 years after he retires. You're not stopping that. Sit back and enjoy the greatest quarterback of all time.
Well, it's sure going to be a great game on Sunday. I'm sure you and I will both be watching it. You guys can watch that live. It'll be on YouTube. But
give us feedback about what you guys think of the first show. Like I said, we will critique it. There's a lot of things we got to do, but for the first time, I think we did a good job.
Did a great job.
I want you guys to enjoy the game Sunday, and we will see you guys next Monday at 4. I'm Derek Williams.
And I'm Danzel Moore.
This is Man Coverage, and we will see you next time.